In this video, we're going to cover core workflows in Part 3, which is submittals and RFIs. If you haven't had a chance to check out our Getting Started video, make sure you watch that before you dive into here. This is your landing page when you come into Part 3. All of your projects are listed here. I'm going to jump into a project now. In the Getting Started video, we talked about setting up your team and your settings. I'm just going to talk about that briefly. When your team is set up, you will have all of your different consultants added by using the plus company button, and you will have all the individuals added as well. You can always resend people's invite by clicking there, and you'll see all the consultants populate on this right-hand side as you're adding people. On the Settings tab, we have a few different areas that I'll cover as well. The first one here at the General area, click Edit. When you created your project, you entered some of this information and you can modify all of that here. But most importantly, we want you to tell us your review periods. So what is your contractual obligation to review both submittals and RFIs, and is it in business or calendar days? And then click Save. Under Document Settings, make sure you have all of your assignees set up. This is populated from your Teams page once you've invited everyone. So all you're going to do is click Add Assignees, pick the person that you're inviting. You can apply it to other workflows if you want, so you don't have to do it individually. Let's say this is the same person for RFIs, and then I'll do the same for my other consultants as well. This makes sure that you're good to go once you have submittals and RFIs to review. You'll see down here, you have all of your different disclaimers. Those were set up for you at your organization level by an admin on your team. You can always modify those here, and that is what goes on to your cover page. Generally, that is the same information that you have on the submittal review stamp. Reminder schedules. This is so we can nicely remind all of the individuals assigned to submittals and RFIs that they have a task due. You can set how often you want to remind them and at what time you want them to receive these emails. You can always delete or pause them if you want. Distribution groups. Set up your distribution groups for submittals and RFIs. So all you have to do is click Create. Tell us which workflows these apply to. So I'll say this is my submittal and RFI group, and I'm going to pick everyone who is involved. So I always want the general contractor to receive a response about my submittals and RFIs. Maybe the owner also wants to be copied on that. The way that our submittals and RFIs automatically work is that we will pull in the individual people that you select here. Any consultants who are involved on that are automatically copied. So it is up to you if you wanted to copy every single consultant here. If I was working on a submittal with structural, we automatically get copied on it. But if you want electrical to see every single submittal or RFI, you can select them as well and then click Create. Now, every time you have a submittal and RFI, those people are automatically added for you. The next thing to get uploaded is your specs. So we want to upload your specifications now so that when you get a submittal, you can leverage our AI hints. So this is the first thing you want to do before you start logging and reviewing any of your submittals. To do this, all you need to do is click Import Specs. You can drag and drop one combined PDF document, or if you have them as separate divisions, that's no problem. You can drag and drop as many as you want. Tell us the title. So maybe these were my issued for coordination or issued for construction specs. Tell us if it's the latest version, and then click Next. We're going to let you know that we're going to start importing these. And now our AI tools are splitting apart all of your PDFs. So again, if you have one combined PDF, no problem. We're going to break it out and recognize each division. So you can see here, we pulled out the different divisions. I'm notified at the top that there are a couple errors. So all I'm going to do is click Next Issue here, and it's telling me that I'm missing some data. So I could click this and jump into that. And now I can see that this is part of 0664. And then I'll hit escape to come out of that. And I'll say, oh, this one is actually 0664. No problem, we've grouped it together. Next issue, this looks like it is part of this spec because I don't see the end of section. So it's usually a good indicator for you if your specs are set up like that. Have a look for this end of section. But again, you can click here and see it full size. So I know that this is part of that multiply roof system, which is this document here. So I'm just going to say that these ones are actually part of that spec. We just didn't classify them, so I'm just going to put them into that division. And then you just keep going until you finish going through. These are my door hardware schedules, so those weren't recognized. You can fill out your own data here. And then you'll get notified that all the issues are resolved and you can confirm your import. And you can also exclude pages. So if you were uploading one combined PDF and we split out the cover page or the table of contents and you don't want to version those, then that's fine. You can exclude those. So now you have your team, your settings, and all your specs uploaded. You are ready to start creating submittals and RFIs. The prime consultant can create submittals and RFIs, and so can a general contractor. On the logs page is where you will find all of your documents. So this is my submittal tab and my RFI tab. You can see I have some in here already. Any icons on this left-hand side indicate that something was returned. Unless it is blue, it's under review, and will also show you the status of all of the consultant reviews. Before you start with your submittals, click the top right corner and go to your account settings. We want to make sure you get your stamp uploaded here. Select our dynamic stamp feature, and all you're going to do is drag and drop a PNG or a JPEG file of your Office standard stamp. And these areas here on the right-hand side allow us to pre-populate that information for you. So I'm going to put reviewer name here, and then I'm going to put the review date in this field. So depending on how many fields you have and what color you want it to be, and then hit save. And now anytime you're reviewing a submittal in Part 3, we'll just auto-populate that information for you. So let's jump back to our project. RFIs and submittals are created using this plus sign in the top right corner. I'm going to start with submittals, and I'm going to show you the first way to review these in Part 3. If your project is connected to Procore, please skip ahead in this video because submittals and RFIs look different when your Part 3 project is connected to Procore. So start by searching the division here. I'm going to say that this one is my joint sealants. You can create your own custom spec if it does not match. Give it a title, a reference number. This is if your general contractor has an external referencing number that they like to use, or their subcontractor. This helps if your GC comes into Part 3 or they ask you where something is. Now you know which numbers match. The due date is auto-populating for you based on those settings. Your disclaimer is already there for you, and now you're just selecting which consultants are involved. So for this example, I'll say structural is involved, and I'll click create. Now, these people on the right-hand side have been notified that they have a task to complete. And now all you're going to do is drag and drop the documents that you have from your general contractor. You can upload as many different files as you want. And now when your team comes in, they can review them here. Click this green review button, and we'll show you your PDF here. You have annotation tools across the top. We also have a simplified viewer if you prefer, where all of our annotation tools are the quick ones here on the left-hand side that are most commonly used. Our review hints are being processed on this right side here. Our review hints have now populated, and you'll see a few different things. We have a recommended response here of revise and resubmit, and we give you an explanation of what your return comment should be, but we will always show you this backup information. So for example here, The specification requires samples, but the product doesn't mention any physical samples that are required in the spec. You can add this comment to your review by clicking Add to Review, and then we'll show you other options as well. So manufacturer looks good. It is one of the manufacturers that is identified, and if you click into the spec, we will show you where that information came from. This recommended response, of course, is just a recommendation, but the idea is that our hints are giving you this head start review. Okay, the manufacturer looks good, the model looks good, something is not quite right with the colors and finishes. You can always click and come in here, add any of these comments to review, which will be the gap and the notes, and jump to that page where it's mentioned in the submittal. When you're finished, set your status on the right-hand side. So I'm going to say this one is reviewed as noted, submit my review. I could click this stamp button in the top right here, or click the stamp here, select which one I want to apply, mark my status, and I'm just going to say this one is reviewed as noted and apply that. I'll try and find some space on this document for my stamp. I could add any other annotations if I wanted to. And when you're finished, click this in the top left corner and it'll bring you back out to your review area. You will see all of the comments that you had here. And now your structural consultant can come into part 3 and review the same documents. The idea is that all of the consultants are marking up the same PDF in real time using the annotation tools in part 3. However, we know that Bluebeam is a very popular tool, and depending on the document that you're reviewing, you may want to take your submittal and review it in Bluebeam. If it was a really big curtain wall submission or structural steel package, you could click Edit in this top right corner and enter your Bluebeam session info and click Update. We now give you this link at the top. If you're going that route, I recommend that you use this area. So I'm going to say all assignees use the session link at the top. But this comment area is recommended. It keeps all of the context at the document levels. So for example, I could say to Christina, what color samples do you want? And then hit comment. Christina now knows that I'm asking a question in here and she can come in and respond. You'll see as well under the review area, you have a drop down. This is structural. You can respond on behalf of your consultants because you are the prime consultant. If structural logged in, they can only respond under their discipline. They can also set their status. They can review and see all of the different Submittal AI hints as well. And when that status is set, you are ready to return the document. When you click return, you'll be able to tell us which document you want to return. So for example, if you wanted to send back the one that had all of the consultant comments, then you could do that and keep the original removed and click continue. So we'll give you a little preview here. We're going to tell you who the document is going to. So it's pulling people that I had from my distribution list I created in my project settings, plus the people that were involved on this document. It's telling me the file I'm sending back, a recap of the status and any comments. And then we have an option for a message back here that will go in the body of the email just to give some additional context to the people that are receiving this, and then click return. Now this is being packaged into one PDF document with any of the attachments you decided to send back and a cover page. This is our architectural review. We will tell you who reviewed it and when, any of the notes, and the review status. Structural is here as well with their own disclaimer from their company. And then we take that kind of worst case scenario, which is reviewed as noted. That was the lowest level of review. If this was marked revise and resubmit, you could click revise and that will create O2R1, and you can always reopen a submittal if you need to. So that is the standard flow for submittal in part 3. I'm going to show you another option that we have for submittals, which is step-based. All this means is that if you had a submittal that you wanted the consultants to review one at a time, you could do that. For example, if you got a rooftop unit and you wanted mechanical to review first before electrical and then yourselves, you could set up that flow. In this one that I've just showed you, anyone can review it at any time. To go through the other option of step-based, under your project settings here, go to Document Settings and Submittal, and toggle on Step-Based Submittal. Go back and create your document the same way. So in the top right corner, I will click Submittal. I am going to search for my specification number. I'll give a title. And now I'm going to decide who is going to review this. So maybe I want to be notified of this. I'm going to add mechanical first, just as an example, and I'm going to say David needs to review it. Second, I'm going to add electrical, and then I'm going to add myself at the end. So I can see here that Christina and I are both listed. If I check this box, it means that Christina has to review it. But in this scenario, I don't want us holding anything up. So I'm going to say either Christina or I can review it. And I'm going to click Add and then Create. As soon as you add your document, we will generate that receive date so that your due date will populate and you can start your review. Now you can see we have step 1, which is mechanical. Theirs is currently under review. They can add files, so we want them to mark up the one that was attached originally. If you hover over this info icon, we will let you know which one is current. They can add any comments. They have that same option to click the review area and get our AI hints. All of your consultants will see this, so they still get that same head start of what is required. Does this meet the specifications? And we will flag any items that do not meet the specifications. They can add their comments here and set their review status and then hit submit. As soon as they complete the review, it moves to the person in the ball in court. You can manage these steps at any time. So maybe electrical doesn't need to review it. I can save that. And now it's just architectural. So the flow is the same. Make sure you get your documents in here. So Christina now is responding and she is pulling that from step 1. And we are carrying this PDF forward so that everyone's review comment goes on the exact same PDF. As soon as the submittal is finished, scroll up and hit return. If you ever need to modify something, you can come back and set the ball in court. Again, we're pulling in that distribution list for you, the one that I made and any individuals involved here. I can click return, decide which file I want to send back. Again, all of us decided to mark up this exact same one. Distribution message, and I'll click return. We will notify you who received the emails, when, and if they were opened, and if there were any issues with them. Same concept as before, you can revise this and reopen it if you need to. So that is the submittal flow, 2 different options in part 3, whether it's step-based or everyone can review at the same time. I'm going to jump into creating an RFI now. Similar to submittals, a general contractor or the prime consultant can create an RFI in part 3. We will auto-generate the next number for you, and you can give it a title here. This number is the same concept if the GC has their own numbering system. You can enter the question here, or you can just drag and drop any of the PDF documents that you get. And again, similar to submittals, just add the consultants involved. If you ever need to modify the consultants involved, you can always click Edit in this top right corner, pick new people or remove. So for example, maybe structural doesn't need to be involved with this. I will remove them and they no longer have a task. Here is the file that I received from the general contractor. I can drop it down here. I have all the same annotation tools. If I wanted to add a drawing, I could do that. So maybe I'm uploading a sketch. I'll just drag and drop a file here just to demonstrate. We will read the information on this drawing, but let's say it's a sketch. I'll just do that drop down and say it's a sketch. Maybe this is my architectural sketch number 3. Skylight details. I can give a description of what changed. So I could say additional dimensions provided, formal SI to follow. That way I'm responding with the information and I will follow up with an SI. You can link the documents here. So I've linked my drawings, set the date of the drawing and click upload. And now we're marking that as a sketch. On the right-hand side, you have the response area. You can say the annotations attached and sketch 3, SI to follow. Submit my response. All of that information goes onto my cover page. You could also link this to an SI. So let's say there was already a document that exists. I could update and link to my SI. I can link to different RFIs and I can make those connections in part 3. And again, click return when you're ready. Include a distribution message if you'd like. And if the GC is revising this RFI, coming back with more questions, or you have questions for the general contractor, you can click revise and you can open it. We also have this price it option hidden here. Ideally, no one is pricing an RFI, but it is there if you need it. Make sure you use the comments area at the bottom to collaborate with your team. You'll always have a history of what was sent out and who took an action and any files that were referenced. In the log view, anything that has a green check mark was returned. If it's orange, it's in revision. So you can see here, this one is 5.1. At a quick level, we can see if the consultants have responded. So for this one, structural and architectural haven't responded to the revision yet. Due date, and we also have a lot of filters across the top for both submittals and RFIs, so you can really narrow down your search. If you ever need to export your submittal and RFI information, click this export in the top right corner, select which documents you want to export and click that, and we'll send you a CSV file via email. Now I'm going to switch over to what it looks like for submittals and RFIs when your Part 3 project is connected to Procore. Switching over to your Part 3 projects that are connected to Procore, before we dive into submittals and RFIs, in the top right corner, click your initials and go to Account Settings. In addition to getting your stamp updated, scroll down to Integrations. The general contractor and you need to do this. The reason is that we want to know that your email in Part 3 is the same email in Procore. It will redirect you to sign into Procore, and then you'll see that your integration has been established. This is the first step. Then your general contractor needs to go into the project, go to Settings, Integrations, and click Connect. All they're going to do is select their company and their project, and now everything is syncing. From that point on, your GC never needs to come back into Part 3 unless they wish to, but the connection will stay in place and all of your submittals and RFIs will sync from the moment that that project was created in Procore. Let's get into it. All of your submittals will automatically sync from Procore. Anytime there's an update in Part 3 or Procore, it will sync. You could always hover over this button in the top right corner if you want to see. Now I'm going to jump into a submittal here that has my name in the ball and court. And this is the most important thing to focus on. You can only contribute and respond to an item that has your name in the ball and court. So if I click in here, I can see that this is the imported file. That is the one that has the Procore icon and it came from the general contractor. Under here, I have my review step and Corey's review step. In this scenario, both Corey and I are prime consultants, and the general contractor assigned it to us, and we manage which consultants are involved. If I wanted to add any other consultants, I can click this plus collaborators button. Maybe I want to bring in mechanical, electrical, and click update. Now they get tasked, and we can all respond under this area. So if I click add response, I can click select from workflow and I want to bring in this current PDF. I can also drag and drop other documents if I want. Same concept, click this green review button. We are going to give you our AI hints on the right hand side. I can say that this one is reviewed as noted. All of my other consultants that I invited in here can also respond. If you have multiple people, I recommend breaking it out so mechanical can have their comments. And once you're done, you can select the final status and hit save. You'll notice that you have the return to Procore button because your name is in the ball and court. Any collaborators that were invited here will see a return to button that has your name here. Because they don't have the ball in court, they can't return it to Procore, but you will get notified that they've completed their response. As soon as you're ready, you can hit return, confirm that you want to send it back to the GC, and then that step will shift to returned. It will only become closed once the general contractor closes it. On the right-hand side here, we are also showing you the date that it came in, the Procore due date, and your contractual due date. We still have this comments area at the bottom where you can mention your team and your consultant team members. This is always internal. You don't have to worry that a general contractor or an owner would see this. Even though the project is connected to Procore, they do not see any of this information. This is a really good area to collaborate. It keeps all the context at the document level so that later on down the road, you don't need to be searching through emails to try and find the discussion that happened. This is the first way that you can review submittals in Part 3 when your project is connected to Procore. You'll see a collaborator icon here. Bring anyone else into the conversation that you need to. Keep an eye out for your name in the ball and court, and then return it when you're finished. I'll show you now a step-based flow and what that looks like in Part 3 and the benefits. I'm going to go back over to settings here. Go to document settings. I'll click submittal, and I'm going to toggle on the step-based flow. Again, I already have my assignees set up on the right-hand side, so I'm ready to go. I go back to logs, and now I'll dive into another submittal that has my name on it. Now things look a little bit different. Similar concept, the general contractor assigned Maggie and I to review the submittal. We are prime consultants, and we are going to decide if any other consultants need to respond. I want to add some other consultants under my step. So what I'm going to do is click these three dots and add steps. I'm going to say for this one, just as an example, I need mechanical to respond. I only need Bob to come in. I can also add multiple people under the same step. I'll click add assignees. Maybe I want mechanical electrical to review it. And I'm going to put myself at the end so that I can have the final say. Again, Christina or I could do that. And then I'll hit save. So now within the step that was created by the general contractor, I'm taking a little bit more ownership with my consultant team and then getting them to respond. They'll have this return to Jess button, again, because their name is not in the ball and court, but I've assigned them. They can set their status, they can add files, they can import and add additional files if they want to, and then when they're ready, they click return to Jess. Now it's electrical's turn, same concept, add any comments here, add any files. So this one is the one that's coming from Bob. They can pull that one in. Again, we're all annotating on that same PDF, return, and now it's into step 1.2 for Christina and I to have the final say as the prime consultants. And then I could return it to Procore. You can modify your steps if you need to. Let's say mechanical or electrical needed to revise the response. I could set that ball in court again, or I could edit my steps or clear them. For each of the steps, I can assign different review periods. So for example, maybe giving mechanical, electrical 4 days, and then I get 3, so that we stay within our review periods set at the contract level. So those are the two different ways to respond to a submittal in Procore connected projects. Either everybody just added as a collaborator, or you as the prime consultant can select and create your own step and sequence of your consultant reviews, take a little bit more ownership in the flow of information and responses before you send it back to Procore. Enabling this step option also gives you a cover page so that it's easier for the general contractor to know who made what comments and what the response was. I'll dive into RFIs right now. So I'll go back to the logs page. I can see here my name is in the ball and court. I could also filter on my tasks assigned to me. I can look at which RFIs involve mechanical or electrical and filter on that and what ones are open. But let's dive into one that has my name here. RFIs are much more straightforward if you've ever worked with Procore before. They do not have the concept of steps, so everyone can respond at the same time. Again, Christina and I have our name in the ball and court. If I click this add button, that's what gives me the opportunity to invite more people to come in and respond and contribute to this RFI. Once you add a response, you'll have the ability to return the document. I'll select that I'm going to mark up the file that they already gave me. And again, I know that because it has this imported Procore icon. If I drop down this file, you'll notice that you don't have any annotation tools across the top. Just make sure that you always pull an attachment into your step so that you get all these annotation tools for you. You can also view full screen here if it's a little bit easier. You can add as many responses as you want. So let's say that this was my mechanical response here. I'm going to add my attachment. If I was adding a drawing, by the way, same concept. If I'm adding a sketch or a drawing that has an update, I can drag and drop that here, and we will identify the sheet number, the sheet title. You can tell us the date that the drawing was issued, and then we give you the opportunity to give a brief description about what changed on the drawing. You can update that here and tell us if it's just a sketch or an attachment. When you're ready to return, you can select which answer you want to send back. So sometimes as the prime consultant, you want to send back one consolidated response to the general contractor. You could send back all the individual responses if you want, from mechanical, electrical, etc., or you could just combine that as one response from the consultant team. So it is up to you. You can edit and delete any of your responses as long as it hasn't been returned yet. And again, we have this comments area down here. Once you click return to Procore, similar to Submittals, this will switch to the return phase, and only the general contractor can close this. Coming back to the logs page, anything with a green icon on this left-hand side is returned. Anything with the blue icon is closed. Lots of different filters across the top. You can export the logs at any time, and we'll send you a CSV file of that to your email. In this bottom right corner, you will see a question mark. This is how you can get in touch with our support team and also search our help docs. So maybe I want to look at Procore Submittals. You can look at our Procore Submittals article here. We have two options, the vanilla way, which is the first one I showed you, and then the step-based. So you can check out all of our information here. If you click this in the top right corner, it will jump you right to our help center, where we also have a lot of resources. And you can also reach out to support using this email option. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions for the team.